Hi guys, this is Avinash Sharma, and in this session we will discuss SQL transaction. What is the SQL transaction? SQL transaction is basically a group of one or multiple SQL statements, or we can say it's a single logical unit of work. What is that? We can understand the meaning of this single logical unit of work with this diagram. Suppose, like we go to a ATM and withdraw the money, then there are some actions involved for withdrawing the money. First of all, your ATM read the balance from your account and then dispense the money, and after that debit the withdrawal amount from your account and write the withdrawal information in the log system of the server. So these are the steps. If you get the money and the amount is debited from your account, means all is fine, then we can say this transaction is successful. If any action, say suppose like amount was not debited from your account or amount was not dispensed, then we have a failure. All action should be cancelled, must be cancelled, because all action are as a single unit of work. So we will see in the example how to define the multiple statement as a single unit of work, because we will put all these multiple SQL statement in a transaction. When you put the multiple SQL statements, then those statements, those multiple actions is called a batch or single unit of work. SQL transaction properties. What is that? If you are using a SQL transaction, then that transaction must have these properties. There are 4 properties, and these are called the ACID properties. First of all, we have the automaticity, consistency, isolation, and durability. So first one, automaticity. It says ensure that all operations within the work unit are completely successfully. Otherwise, transaction is aborted at the point of failure. What does it mean? As we discussed the example of the ATM, withdraw the money. Suppose we have a customer, that is a customer balance is 5,000. The customer goes to ATM and withdraw the 2,000. That time the ATM write the information in the log server. If all is fine, means the transaction is successful, then finally the customer balance is 3,000 and the server write the information permanently in the database in case of the success. If any action failed, then the whole transaction is failed. And the whole actions involved in that transaction must be rolled back or must be cancelled. So in that case, again the customer's balance must be the 5,000 because it was initially 5,000. So this entry must be cancelled. And the information written in the server also must be cancelled. So this is called the automaticity of the transaction. Next is the consistency. It says once the transaction is successful, then the information must be written, must be committed. It means once it is successful, then customer balance must be 3,000 after deducting the 2,000, and the information must be written in the server. This is called the consistency. And the next one is the isolation. When you withdraw the money from the ATM, so that time many users must be withdrawing the money from the ATM. So all users are using the transaction, and all these transactions must be isolated from each other. It means these transactions must not be mixed. This is called the isolation. Next one is the durability. It says once the data is committed, the amount withdrawn and the transaction is successful, customer balance is 3,000 and the information written permanently in the log file. And thus in case of the system failure, so these information must be intact, must not be disturbed. This is called the durability. Now, modes of transactions in SQL Server. There are 3 types. Auto commit, that's by default. It means if you are not using any kind of transaction, that it is working in auto commit mode. Next one is the implicit. In this case, you just can enable the transaction mode implicit, but you cannot decide when to initiate the transaction. The server will decide. The next is the explicit. You can define the transaction and also you can define when to start the transaction. So this is the difference between the implicit and explicit. So we will check all these transactions with difference on the SQL Server. TCL, Transaction Control Language. So these are the command within the TCL. Commit, to save the data permanently in database, and rollback, to roll back the change. Whatever like you change have you done, you can cancel those changes. Then the save point, you can mark the transaction from where you want to roll back. It is called the partially rollback or partially commit. Then set transaction, it's the name of the transaction. And finally, we have a very important line, commit or rollback is used always with the transaction. Now we check how to use the transaction on the SQL Server. First of all, we check the auto commit transaction. That is by default. It means if you are not using any kind of transaction, then by default it's a auto commit. We have some data. We check this data, this table. So we have three records: EMP ID 102, 1 and 5, then department, age and salary. And we have three statements. We are inserting new records, that is the 108. We are updating the salary of a employee whose ID 101, salary 20,000. Currently it's at 12,000. Also we are deleting that data 105. So we have three statements. And after that we have a statement, that is the select trans count. It's a global variable or inbuilt variable of the SQL Server. This statement, this variable counts the number of transactions in current session. But here it will show always 0. Why? Because it's a auto commit. And after committing the data, this variable is reinitialized with the 0. Okay. If I execute all these statements, now the last statement, it's a 0 because all these statements have been committed and now this data cannot be rolled back. If I check the data 101, so we updated the salary, that is the 20,000. We inserted new record 108, we have that one 108. Then we deleted the 105, it is deleted from here. So everything happened by default and auto commit. Next is the implicit transaction. And if you want to use the implicit transaction, then we need to enable the implicit transaction option. We have to use this option, but we cannot decide whether the transaction has been started or not. This is the SQL Server. The SQL Server will decide on the basis of some commands. You can just enable the transaction, implicit transaction. When you use these commands, say alter table, create, delete, drop, fetch. Once it is enabled, and if you use any of these commands, then transaction is started. And make sure with this transaction you use commit or rollback. If you want to save the data permanently, then use commit, or if you want to cancel all the actions single unit, then use the rollback. So we check some data. So we have two records 101, 102 and the salary. Then again we have three commands. Insert, we are inserting the 115, then we are changing salary 35,000 for 101 and delete the 102. After that, select, we are counting the number of transactions in this current session, then commit. And after commit, again we are counting the number of transactions. Why? Because I told you, once you fire the commit or rollback, then this variable reinitialize with the 0. So before commit, we also count the number of transactions. Okay. If I execute this piece of code, then before commit transaction 1, we have the multiple statements in this transaction, but transaction is one single unit of work. After commit, then transaction 0. Now we check the data. Data has been changed or not, because we use the commit statement. So we inserted 115, it is there. Updated 30,000, it is there, and 1021 gone. Suppose if I use a rollback. Now rollback means say 1120, and this time cell is say 25, and it's fine. Now 101, delete the 101. If I execute this one, then before rollback transaction 1, after rollback transaction 0. If I check the data, then there is no change, because you have rolled back the transaction, and transaction means the whole step, the whole actions within that transaction. So those has been cancelled. Suppose if I condition this one, say I have variable that is the ch and initialize with the 1. So condition is if ch is equal to 1, then commit the data, otherwise roll back the data. So right now the value of this variable ch is equal to 1. So if I execute this statement, then commit it. Okay, I check the data. So 120 inserted. Now I change value, say 125 and say 24, and then say 115, delete. Now I change the value of this variable, say 0. It means it will jump to the this statement, roll back, and no change in the data. So I execute this statement. Okay, check the data. So there is no change, because now this is the rollback. So this is how we can use the implicit transaction with the commit and rollback. Now we talk about the explicit transaction. In case of the explicit transaction, we can identify the starting point of the transaction. And in case of the implicit, we cannot decide. Only the SQL server was deciding on the basis of the some commands. Here we can decide. When you start the command, suppose we have the set implicit. Here we have to write here begin transaction. This is the explicit transaction. It means immediate statement. So we are starting the transaction from here. This statement insert. So this is the difference between the implicit and explicit. Rest of the things is the same. So here we check the data. So we have the MP ID 115 and 125. Then say I 130, and for 115 change salary say 4000 and delete say 125. We have a condition with variable chint and initial value make it 1. So in case of the 1 it's commit, and in case of the 0 rollback, else case. Okay, if I execute this one, begin transaction, then execute. If I check the data, then 130 inserted, and that is the 4000 salary updated, and this one 125 deleted, because we took the 1. If we take the 0, then it will jump to the rollback. It means there would be no impact on the data. Now we talk about the save point command. For partially committing the data or partially roll back the data, you can use the save point command, because you can mark from where you want to roll back the data or you want to commit the data. In this example you can see, first of all we check the data, select from this. So we have the 5 rows: 115, 13, 131, 32 and 50. Now in this example, begin transaction, then in the first it is the insert, and the first statement is the insert. So I change it, say 160. Then save transaction and the name of the transaction. So I am marking the point for the rollback. After this statement, we have another 3 statement: delete EMPID 130, 131, 132. Then rollback transaction and the name of this point, delete point, delete point. Then we have the commit. So what will happen? This will insert this statement, and after it will mark the statement transaction. It will delete all 3 these EMPID, but rollback transaction, this statement will cancel all these 3 delete statement, because we have the point, we have the marking from where we have to roll back the data. So insert, we have the 160. Okay, now if I execute this statement, so now check the statement. So we can see 160 inserted this one, but 130, 131, 132 they are there, because the SQL server deleted all 3 EMPID buts rollback transaction. It cancelled all these 3 statements. So this is how you can use the save point transaction. So guys, this was all about the SQL transaction. I hope you understood everything. Thanks for watching the video.